Okay, we got Ari Roman with us. If Only for Memories is the short film. It's 6 minutes long. Plays Chicago Feedback Festival. Really well done film. You're from Buffalo, correct?
Yeah, I'm from Buffalo, New York.
It's good to see you. I'm from Niagara Falls originally, so
Oh, awesome.
yeah. So it makes you have to. You might not be a fan, but you have to be a Bills fan, right? Like if you live in
Yeah.
the area, that's part of the
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So what's going to happen
Yeah,
this
I'm
year?
no stranger to the mafia and all the games and everything. Don't you
Yeah.
worry.
What's going to happen this year?
Yeah, I mean that's what we've been saying every year. The Sabres are looking good though. That's fun.
The what? What's that?
The Sabres are looking really good this year.
They are. They're as we're doing this podcast, they might get the number one seed, right? Like going
Yeah,
from
we'll
no
see.
year drought to a number one seed. It's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, been really exciting stuff. Yeah.
So is the city excited? Because I live in Toronto now, but is the city excited about the Sabres?
Yeah,
Or like, yeah, they are.
absolutely. Yeah, the city has been very much more lively, especially since the loss in football. It's a gloomy place after every football season, but
Yeah.
now that we have the Sabres to root for, it's definitely a happier place.
Well, you're very young, right? So you're in your early 20s. I'm 50, so I grew up in the four straight Super Bowl losses. So I
Mm,
that's my era. I was a teenager when that happened. So
damn.
yeah,
Yeah, I can't imagine.
it's my soul. That area is my soul. It's who I am. So how is the film industry in Buffalo? I know you got a film festival there. Like, how's the indie scene? Is there any like other filmmakers like yourself?
Yeah, the indie scene is quite good. The Buffalo scene is very much like indie scene is very much led by like the queer community. There's a lot of queer films that'll come through there, and like the professional scene in Buffalo is very much dominated by like Hallmark and Great American Family. But
Yeah,
that makes it very easy to like, have your day job be working on set and then have a lot of passion projects on the side. And then I'm currently in Syracuse working on some stuff with American High. And they mostly run the show in like central New York. But like between the two cities, there's a lot of work to go back and forth. And the independent scene in Syracuse is also very good. My film, If Only for Memories, was shot in Syracuse. And then the indie scene in Syracuse here is mostly led by similar kind of people who work on film sets, passion project type stuff, but also a lot of students because of Syracuse University, which is where I went.
so you're a graduate. That's known for like mainly known for broadcasting, I guess, right? This is the school.
Yeah, so Syracuse University actually has two film programs. There's
Okay,
the broadcasting school Newhouse, which has TRF, which is television, radio, film. That's mostly a broadcasting communications degree. But there's also visual and performing arts, which is where I studied. That is a lot more akin to like a conservatory kind of space where you kind of move at your own pace and you have access to a lot of equipment and a lot of like similarly passionate people, and you can kind of grow there with amazing mentors and everything. And that's what I did. And it's a program where it's very much you have to push yourself. Um, so for me and for my friends, my people, like uh, it was like every weekend working on someone's set, working on someone's film, helping each other write, meeting with professors, and yeah, I came out a lot stronger because of it. So I'm very glad to have been there.
so this is a student project, correct?
This was my senior thesis. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice job. It's like it's the perfect length for what it is, and it's like you didn't, and you just told the story. It's like nicely photographed. Was everybody the crew was all from the school as well?
Yeah, I actually mostly from the school. I did have a couple friends that I met just like working around drive into Syracuse and I housed them for it. Like for example, all of the catering was done by my mom. I had her come up for that. And then I a year before I had studied in Prague, like a study abroad kind of thing. And I met a lot of people from the Northeast that we ended up making films together out there. And I've worked on some stuff with them where they're from, and they ended up coming to Syracuse for me. And we've kind of been going back and forth doing that. That's my good friend Lyndon. Yeah, so it's a lot of like, calling up the most talented people I've met throughout my time, and just throwing ourselves at each other's projects for each other, but also for ourselves.
And who is your cinematographer in this film?
Cinematographer was a man named Evan Sook. He graduated with me from Syracuse. Brilliant guy.
Yeah,
I really enjoy working with him because just he has a very similar kind of like very artistic like base, and like we don't need dialogue, we don't need these rules, we can just make things. But then um a lot of like really creative lighting rigs that we can kind of just throw at each other and bounce off. And he moved to LA last year, but we still keep in touch. We worked on something for our friend Lyndon, who I mentioned earlier, together earlier this year. So we're still very much working together. I follow him and his projects. He follows me still. Brilliant guy, and he brought a lot to the table. Something that comes to mind was the in the car. Uh, in If Only for Memories, there's a scene in the car. We came up with a lighting rig together of just having like the quasar tubes armed out on a C-stand and then just spinning them in a circle to
yeah.
give the illusion of like headlights coming by.
It's the
And
poor
so we
man's
could
process. They use it on big movies.
exactly,
Yeah, yeah, on big budget films all the
exactly.
time. Yeah,
But hey, it looked great. It looked great. I was really happy with that.
it's a weird term for it because it's the called the poor man's process, but it's beyond that. They do it on $100 million movies, right? So it's just like it's just
Yeah.
weird that they call it that. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, most of the film industry is how can we save how can we save our pennies to get one extra shot at the end, you know?
yeah.
Like if
It
if
works.
if I
If it
ended up
works, it
paying
works.
for, sorry, go ahead.
I said if it works, it works, right? Yeah.
Exactly, right? Exactly.
Okay, so what are you trying? What do you, if only for the memories? Like, what are you trying to say with this film thematically? What's the point? What's the point you're trying to make?
Um, a lot of it came from my like personal obsession with dreams, and a lot of like retrospective thinking and like the benefit of retrospective thinking, but then also like how painful that can be to like, you know, look at your past and dream about your past and like really try to dig through it and find out the problems with yourself and the people around you, and right, like how was your perception of the world, messed up, and how can you push through that to become a better person who understands yourself better. But then If Only for Memories is a lot more about how that process is incredibly painful and can take endless amount of time.
It's a pretty profound thing to say for a 23-year-old. So, but yeah, yeah, it's just it's the human process. I think we go through it all the time. Most of us, at least, kind of like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
You don't want to get stuck in that rut though. That past, right? You want to because sometimes you can get that. It can become like an addiction in a sense where you kind of get stuck in that
exactly.
time warp, right, of the past.
Exactly. And that's exactly what happens in If Only for Memories. And it's about like this
Yeah,
balance between
yeah,
looking backwards and moving forwards, right?
yeah. Easier said than done, but it's hard, right? Because I think everybody you have regrets, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, especially when love is involved, right?
Yeah.
So when do you remember when you where you were when you wrote the script and like what you're feeling and how you came up with the idea?
Yeah, so I wrote it while I was abroad in Prague. I was like, on the end of like this second like very turbulent kind of relationship during college that I had. And I had also at the same time been like just toying with different ways to like induce dreams, and like how can you affect your dreams, how can you do this, how can you do that, and just like kind of trial and erroring with my own sleep. Um and that ended up sparking the idea of like, what about a person who is going back to their dreams, for the purpose of seeing somebody, right? And then the idea kind of went on the back burner for a little bit. That I came up with the idea that was in January of 2024, and then just moving through the summer, just collecting experience while that idea is still in the back of my mind, and just plopping on top of it. I had another relationship during all of that. And then in September or like August, September of 2024, I started like finalizing the script, getting a good look through, figuring all of that out. Got Evan, the cinematographer, on the project, and then just like bouncing ideas off with him. Another really brilliant person, Logan Desai, was just like he gaffed the project, but during the writing process, he was an amazing like backboard to just throw things at.
Yeah.
And I think everyone who knows him would say that. And then yeah, it slowly found itself into being a kind of like transient, more experience, less narrative focused, and I'm really proud with how it came out. Yeah, I
Yeah.
ended up shooting it in October at the like October, November of 2024, and then edited through like March, April, May. I also did all the color and the Foley, so it was a very like me in a dark room kind of process. But yeah.
Oh, you did the sound as well?
Yeah, I did the color, the sound design, and then I didn't compose, but the composer who does everything for me. His name's Eric Timlin. Brilliant guy. He's down in New York City now, forgetting about me or whatever. No, I'm kidding. We still work together.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a very talented guy. But yeah, I did the color, the Foley, all the editing, and then written directed.
So quick segue before I finish your film, because you said you have your sound, your composer in New York, your DP's now in LA. What about you? Are you going to stay in Buffalo?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, upstate, the thing is like, because uh, I'm sure you know this. You're like the 100th person to ask me that question, you know. But at the end of the day, I just feel like I'm not quite ready to like give up on upstate New York. Like it really feels like a home to me, and like the culture here is hyper specific, and I do really appreciate it. Um, New York will always be there, LA will always be there, but I feel like this right now in this weird growing state that upstate is in, it feels temporary. Um, so yeah, and a lot's changing in the film industry too, and I feel like I can digest and see where upstate's going. So for the most part, I feel like I'm gonna stay here. But I do have, plans to
Yeah.
roam around and,
Gotcha. Well,
yeah.
from someone who's from there, I kind of like what your answer. I like your answer. I like that because I never would have thought that it would be like that. So I kind of like what you're saying. It's like I wish the area the best. So and keep people like
Yeah.
yourself stay and kind of grow it and make movies and not just the Hallmark movies, but movies like this, right? Movies like yours,
Yeah.
right? So
And I've
yeah,
also thought about Toronto too, to be fair.
yeah. Well, Toronto's good, right? So yeah,
Yeah, it's
Toronto's a good
lovely.
city. Okay, and like at the same time, like I talked to you at the beginning. It's like that home vibe, that home feeling, and it never goes away. I'm always will be from that area. I'll always be
Yeah,
Niagara
yeah.
guy, right? So no matter what happens to me, so and I'm forcing my kids to be Buffalo fans as well. So
Yeah.
so they're gonna have the heartbreak. I'm giving them that bad heartbreak, basically, as we saw
Yeah.
in the Denver game in January. Okay, so
Yeah.
so I like the use of the colors aspect. I love the way you did it. I thought it was really great, and it's like kind of like I said, it has that kind of dream aspect to it at the beginning. You got the waves. How did you do the waves in the beginning? How'd you do that?
Um, yeah, so there was like the smoke waves, that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. The
That was
beginning of the film,
actually
yeah,
found footage.
that dreamy wave, yeah, that water kind of aspect. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that was actually found footage that I layered onto like some footage of different lens flares. Um yeah, for me, what really ties that section together is the score. Uh, Me and my buddy Eric, we went through like a bunch of different drones, and he ended up like working out a drone synth and just figuring out something that just really captured this like just like instant like pull in um serious kind of tone. Yeah, and that came through very well. But yeah, the that whole opening section was all found footage.
And so, what about the two actors? I think you're the voice, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Yeah, the two actors, the man, his name is Will Nissen. He is I'm not sure where he's from, but he was a acting senior at Syracuse at the
Okay.
same time that I was a senior. And then the woman is Sadie Everhart, who I found on Backstage from like East Aurora near Buffalo. So I was like, Buffalo have to have to show the roots. So I helped her get over and housed her over here in like an Airbnb. And they were both great, very fun to work with, very passionate people. Um, yeah, also just great to talk to. I love working with actors because they a lot of the times know the script better than I do. And that can make it fun to like really dig through things from someone who cares as much as I do, but has a completely different approach
Yeah.
to it, you know? Because I come from theme and then go out, and they come from the outside with the character and find the theme, you know?
Yeah, I like that.
Um, yeah,
Because
so
at the
it
same
can be
time
it
they
can
have
be
to
really
trust
fun to
you
work with
because
them.
there's no like no talky scenes, there's no like moments for them. Everything's kind of nuanced and subtle within their
Yeah,
performance, right? So
yeah,
they must have a lot of trust in what you're doing.
yeah. And the same can be said the other way. I have to trust them a
Yeah,
lot, right? Because all of these emotions, they're very specific, and without any dialogue really attached to them, it can be hard to, um, like ensure that they're giving me the right emotion that I'm looking for. There goes my light switch. Well, we're just gonna hope it gets better.
yeah,
But anyways, uh,
yeah. The
but
actor, you
yeah,
said with the
they
actor. Yeah, yeah,
but yeah, no, they were both great, and I had like they are actually speaking lines that I did write for them, um, that were just to try and like help them like because we're like everything we do is based off of language, right? Like
yeah,
other animals think in thoughts, we think in language, right? So having language to then find an emotion can help a lot for a lot of people, and I think it helped them a lot for sure.
yeah. When sometimes you never know. So, the animals might have their own language as well. We don't know, right? So,
Fair enough. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
the birds are saying something, right? Because you
Yeah,
have birds in your film, right? Like they're saying something like to each other, right? So it could be a language.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just kidding, but basically, so you got the some look. We talked about the car scene, and then what the location? Like it's like a
Mhm.
cottage, or where was that location? Where did you find that?
That that was an Airbnb in like East Syracuse. I chose it because I really like the wooden paneling,
Yeah,
and like it still had some color in it. All the doorknobs were red, which it felt like something that would only happen in a dream, so I was kind of attracted to it from that. But it had like an almost like nostalgic kind of feel to it. Because a lot of the places I've been living in since leaving home with my parents have, like look at my room, look at your room. Like I'm only here to work on a film in Syracuse, but like everything's white and like washed out, you
yeah,
know. So that was immediately I was attracted to that Airbnb for that reason. Um, yeah, and we also there's a couple shots of the male character in like a bedroom sort of thing like sobbing, and that was above the kitchen physically, and it had a window, was going to be easy to light and everything, so I was like, yeah, like this makes sense. I think we can get some really really good shots out of this, and also I have a cinematography background, so that's a lot of times that's how I approach things. It's like, okay, well, if the actors are facing there and there's a window, that'll be
Yeah.
straightforward enough, you know?
So you got yourself a film. It's like I'm assuming you passed with this film, and you're setting it to festivals. I hope it's doing well. It's a nicely done film, like I said.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah. So okay, so then you graduated. Congratulations.
Mhm.
So are you going to make more short films like this? Is that your plan?
My plan is, like just kind of doing what feels right, I guess. A lot of times I seem like a very spontaneous person, but it's definitely more calculated than that. Like, after graduating, I ended up working with this drilling company, and I made a documentary with them and some tests that they were doing. Um, and that's kind of the interviews I did with that really piqued my interest. And back before I decided that I wanted to be an artist, I was very much being pushed and to be like in a sort of science math realm, just because that's what I was good at growing up. I was never good at drawing. I was good at, being imaginative, like physically imaginative and
Yeah.
like math and science. So like working with those drilling guys, like really kind of clicked something in me. And I think that there is a future with like me and documentary and sort of kind of like not like strict documentary,
Yeah.
because that's just how I am. I can't do anything the one way, but it would definitely like include some interviews. I want to like go around and find different people from different places without any like kind of specific criteria for who it is, and work with them and kind of meet them and get nice interviews. But as for like narrative projects, I've been writing another narrative film that would be a little bit more traditional than this, but still very, very low on dialogue, just because that's how I roll. But for that one, I don't think I could shoot it anywhere else but in Buffalo, just because it feels so connected to like working people in Buffalo. So I think that like it has to be there. Um, so that script will probably be on the back burner until some kind of Buffalo related grant comes through.
Okay.
But then other than that, I'm always writing whatever. I have some feature ideas that are like ways away, but yeah,
Gotcha. So, but you're
I'm
in a good
keeping busy.
place.
Don't worry.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
you're in a
yeah,
good
yeah.
place. You graduated. You don't feel pressured. I guess you just like
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
that's a
I
good.
feel yeah, I'm working consistently on sets and feeling good, meeting amazing people and writing where I can, doing whatever kind of piques my interest, and you know, preparing for the things that I want to put on my horizon.
Yeah. What do you do? I'm just curious. What do you do on sets? What's your job?
Um, I do a little bit of everything.
Like
My
PA work
my
or?
background, like throughout school, I was always G&E, mostly gaffing,
Oh,
and
okay.
I've gaffed like probably like 30-ish short films at this point. Just like around friends, people I meet here and there. I've been slowly moving towards camera, um, just because that's just where I'm kind of going, and like the again, that's kind of torquing the like science technology brain that I grew up having.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and even my approach to gaffing can seem very mathematical at times. So it makes sense that I'm finding myself landing in camera. Yeah, like right now on this current set, I'm in the AD department. And this set's going for a couple more months, but I have something lined up after that where I'm going to be in camera department once again. So I'm very excited for that.
Oh, great. So you're always busy. That's awesome. So you're in the middle of working on a. Do you have a day? So we're doing this Sunday night. Do you have an early call time tomorrow, or?
Um, it's 8:30.
Oh, that's yeah.
But our
That's like
usual
mid
is
afternoon
7.
film style. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. 7 a.m. is my favorite call time because I get out at 7:30
Yeah,
p.m. I can still do something. If there's a movie out, I can go see it and then go to bed.
yeah,
8:30 is a little tough because I get home at like 9:15 and it's like I guess I'm just going to bed, you know?
yeah.
But yeah, it gives me opportunity to stay up late and get interviewed.
Talk to me. No, that's interesting, but that's a kind of a weird time for Monday morning. It's a weird call time. Usually it's seven. It's always 7 a.m. Right to get the weekend
Yeah,
started. So yeah.
we're doing it at 8:30 because there's a couple shots we need at night at the end
Oh,
is the
gotcha.
idea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense. Yeah. All right, man. Well, it seems like you're busy. Like I said, I hope this film does well for you. Like it seems it already has. It's for your school. It's like it's very unique and it's profound. There's like everything works on all levels. So I'd love to see what you do next. And I guess go Sabers, right? So
That's right.
maybe 2 months from now we'll. Can you? Would it be crazy if the Sabers won the Stanley Cup before the Bills with Josh Allen? Would that be the craziest
I
thing?
A lot of people have been saying, like even before, is that
Yeah,
the Bills, like the Bills aren't breaking a Bills curse. They're breaking a Buffalo curse. And
yeah,
people don't know if football is the right sport to do that in.
yeah.
So the
I like that.
idea is that if the curse gets broken in hockey, then there will be a lot less pressure on
What's the
football
curse
guys.
though? Is there what's the like the curse? It's not the curse of the curse of the Bambino, and then the Cubs have the goat
We
curse.
just,
What does Buffalo have?
yeah,
Is it?
we
Is
just
it
can't
really
do
that?
nothing except for lacrosse. Shout outs to the lacrosse team. The Buffalo Bandits are very good,
Yeah.
but
No, but it's like what I'm trying to say is there's some. What's the curse? Like there's just it's just bad luck, I guess,
I don't
right?
know. Yeah,
Okay.
snowy middle of nowhere towns.
No, I just thought it was something specific. I didn't know because I'm not in the loop, but
Oh yeah.
yeah. So I guess
No, there's
it's
nothing specific. It's just
okay.
yeah.
It's self pity, feeling sorry for ourselves. That's what Buffalo, that right. So
Yeah,
you got to get over that, right? So
exactly.
because there's a lot of bad luck. We've had the Bills. I know we got one of the great quarterbacks of our generation, but they've had some bad luck,
Yeah,
like some bad breaks, right? So
for sure.
yeah,
For
like
sure.
they're going to beat the New England the next week. That was the worst game he played, probably in 2 years,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
But a time he must have been hurt, right? So
Yeah, it's hard to say. It
yeah,
was probably a number of things and mentality and
yeah.
but yeah,
Now he's a now he's a father. He's got a whole different perspective now. So right.
right? Yeah.
All
We'll
right,
see
well,
how it
go
goes. We'll see.
Sabres. They got a pretty good team. The goaltending, I like. There's the goaltender's got to always got to win 1 or 2 games. I'm Canadian, so
Hmm.
we've got to win one or 2 games in the playoffs. I don't know. Hopefully, we got one or two of those games. So
Yeah,
yeah, I don't want to play Ottawa in the first round. We might play. They're a good team, so but we'll see.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. We'll see how it goes. It'll be
Yeah.
exciting for sure.
All right, man. Well, let's talk to you soon, and best of luck. Let's talk again when you make your next film.
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much. Have a good
Thanks.
night.